So out here in Microsoft Teams, I have an app that I have installed as part of Teams, and it's called Power Apps. And how did I install this app? All you have to do is just go to apps and search for Power Apps, and you should get the Power Apps app for Microsoft Teams. All you have to do is just select this. If you have installed this before, like in my case, I get the option to open it. If it is the first time, you will be asked to install it. Once it's installed, I would recommend to right click and pin the app on the left-hand navigation rail in Teams so that you can always quickly get started with building solutions using Microsoft Dataverse for Teams. And right here is where I can start creating apps for Microsoft Teams. Now, as part of today's demo, I already created a team right before this meeting called Power Platform Week, PPW. And if I head back to my Power Apps app in Microsoft Teams, right here on the home screen itself, I have a lot of options to leverage. First thing is the easy button, which is create an app, and literally we can build an app in 5 minutes using Microsoft Dataverse for Teams features. At the same time, right here, you can see all your recent apps that you have built as part of the teams that you're a part of. You can also leverage templates. And there are 5 really cool templates that are provided as part of Microsoft Dataverse for Teams. I will showcase one of the templates today, which is the milestones template, which is personally my favorite template of all of these 5. You also have some really good learn materials right here at the bottom. Sadly, it's at the bottom, but if you scroll down, these videos will help you quickly get started with building apps and making yourself familiar with Microsoft Dataverse for Teams. I will highly recommend you to watch these. Back to the app. So in my case, I want to create a very simple app. So I'll say create an app. And right here, I get an option to choose my team for which I'm building my app. Remember, this is Dataverse for Teams. Everything will be related to a Microsoft team. So in this case, I already have my team created. I will select my team and click create. And just like that, the Power Apps Maker experience is going to open up directly within the context of Microsoft Teams. I'm not even leaving my Teams interface. Right now, I'm accessing Teams on the browser. If I was on my browser, if I was on the client itself, the experience would be exactly the same. So let's say in this case, I'm going to create a work progress tracker solution right here. I'm just building an app for work progress tracking so that all the members of my team can track progress of their work. I've given my app a name. Now I want to start creating content. Now, first thing is I need to create tables to store my data, and I would like to leverage Microsoft Dataverse for Teams. And right here is the option for me to go ahead and create a table on the fly. I can give my table a name. I'll call this my work items. I'll click create. And this creates a table in that database that just got created for this Microsoft team. And as part of this table, you get a default column called name, which of course can be changed. You can rename this. And if I go to plus, very similar to SharePoint, very similar to Excel as well. On the fly, I can create columns right here. So for example, I have the name of my task. I would like to have a description for my task. The type will be text. And I would like to increase the max length to 1000 for this. Okay, so I've got the name of my task, the description of my task. Maybe I would like to add the due date of my task. And I have a column type called date that I can choose from. I can even add columns of type choice. So in this case, I can go and say I would like to add choices, and my choices for priority are going to be low, medium, and high. And finally, I would like to go ahead and assign the task to a user. So I can just call this assigned to, and right here, I can just go and pick the type email and click create. Just like that, I built a table on the fly in Dataverse for Teams in Teams using the Power Apps app. And this is very similar to Excel. I can directly edit this grid on the fly right here. So right now I have a task of running the webinar. Run the webinar. Due date of the task is today. Priority of this task, well, for me is super high, and this task is assigned to Reza. And I have to plug in an email address, a valid email address in here in order to set this up. And just like that, I created a record in my table. And of course, I can add more columns, and I can do a lot more. Now, once I'm done with this, I will click on close. Now, what this does is it's associating that table that I just created as part of my app. And you can see the association right here. I can even create additional tables by just going to create a table and create more tables. I can create relationships between tables. All of these features are available in Dataverse for Teams. And please bear in mind, because this is Dataverse for Teams, this does not mean you have to use this database. You're not forced to use this. I can go to add data, I can go to connectors, and this lists out all those 450 plus connectors that are available today as part of the Power Platform. So if I would like to talk to SharePoint, I can connect to SharePoint right here. Get my data from SharePoint, get my data from SQL, Excel. No matter what your data source is, you can get the information right here. But please bear in mind that when you're connecting to a data source, every connector has this feature which shows up whether it is premium or not. If the connector is premium and I'm leveraging that connector in my app, in that case, all the users would require a premium license. SharePoint is a standard connector, so it does not show up that symbol. And Microsoft Dataverse for Teams, as you can see, is also a standard connector in this case. So I do not have any licensing implications for now. If I preview this app, what Dataverse for Teams has done is it has actually gone ahead and even set up a default template for me connecting to that table that I just created. So guess what? Here is the record as part of my table. And these are the details associated with that record. I can even go ahead and edit this and modify this on the fly. Change the status to priority, click save. I can even click and create a new record on the fly right here. And all of these capabilities is because of the native template that's available, which is called the Hero Layout template, which creates this full CRUD-like experience against your table. Now, of course, this is Power Apps, and you're not limited to what is available here. I can easily go ahead and create new screens, use any of the screen templates, connect to data sources, add labels, controls. I have the full power of the platform available for me right here in Dataverse for Teams. And once I'm done with building my app for my team, when I would like to publish this to my team, all I have to do is click this one button, which is publish to Teams. Because this is the first time that I've created the app, it's saving the app. I'll click next so that it publishes the app. And now this app is ready to be consumed by all the members and owners and guest users of my team. This is now listing out all the channels of my team. So in which channel would I like to add this app as a tab? I only have the general channel, so I'll click on plus. It's gone ahead and added this app. I will click save and close. This will now go ahead, associate this app. Let me try this once again. Associate this app to the tab and go ahead and close my browser interface. Now, if I head over to Teams, or if any member or a guest user heads to that team, in this case, I have my team called Power Platform Weekly. I should have that tab showing up right here. In this case, I don't because of that issue when I publish the app. I would have to republish it. However, as part of the demo for today, I have already gone ahead and created a very similar app called the Work Progress Tracking app. The only difference here is that I have gone ahead and built out the app completely using a lot of the features that's available in Power Apps. So as you can see right here, this is a work progress tracking app that's showing me data that is living in my table for this Microsoft team. And I can go ahead and add new records right here on the fly. So right here, I'm going to create a new task. Maybe I have the webinar task. I'm going to give this a sample description. I will set the priority. This is not started. This is related to marketing research. You can see the different capabilities that's available right here in Power Apps. And all of this literally was built in a matter of hours. And I was able to push and create a fully functional work progress tracking app to my Microsoft team. Now, if I head back to the Power Apps app in Microsoft Teams, and if I head over to the Build tab this time, if I look at my team, which is Power 365, if I head over to See All, this will show me all the artifacts that have been created as part of this team. And here is my app, the editable grid-like app that I created. If I go to Tables, this will list out all the tables that are created as part of my team. And right here, I only have a single table. And if I go to Edit Data, this will show me all that data that I was showcasing in that app. That same experience is available right here as well. Now, the reason I came here was to show you two things. One is the ability to manage permissions. So by default, owners have full access to all the tables, and that cannot be changed. However, for members, they do have full access by default at a table level, but I can change that. Maybe in my case, I want members to only read data. So I can select the reference access and click save. And just like that, I have changed the security for members related to the data. I can do the same thing for guest users. I can even do the same thing for users who are not a part of my team by sharing it with them. Also, if I try and add a column right here, remember I said Microsoft Dataverse comes with rich data types. These are the rich data types. Check out the different column types that are available, and I can vouch for this. No other data source has this level of rich data types that it exposes. From text controls to text area, email, stock ticker symbols, phone numbers, durations, you name it. It comes with a wide variety of column types, files, images, floating point numbers, and this is only growing. Also, Dataverse for Teams is relational in nature. And how do you create relationships? Well, just head over to relationships and you can create relationships on the fly, literally through a GUI, graphical user interface like experience right here. So maybe I have multiple tables and I would like to relate these tables together. I can go and pick the relationship type, select my secondary table and click done. And just like that, this data service, which is Microsoft Dataverse, will handle all the aspects for us, the primary key, the foreign key, the relational data, it's all managed for you. The backend for Dataverse is actually SQL. If you've ever worked with SQL before, when you want to create relationships between tables, you have to do the work. You have to create the key, the foreign key, you have to do that work. In this case, literally point and click. For the SharePoint folks in the room, please bear in mind, SharePoint is not a relational database. There are a lot of challenges with SharePoint. Dataverse alleviates all of those challenges. And of course, you are not only limited to building apps, you can build chatbots, you can build flows, all of this within the context of Microsoft Teams.